My name is Renz Oliver Publico. I use Aropi as an artist name, which eventually will be, like a business, sort of like a company name for. Um, I started doing music 5 years ago, or 5, 6 years ago. Well, um, let's see. I started composing, sorry, actually, 5 to 6 years ago. But I already had music background before I started composing.
So you were
But
already
it
a
only,
player before you composed, or?
yeah, I was playing violin before.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
We have that
but
in
I quit.
common.
Oh,
I
you play
started on the
violin
violin.
too?
I started on the violin as a little kid, but back to you.
Okay. Well, I also quit violin when I spent more time, making music. It was around during the COVID when I had more time to do things, more like a discovering what I actually want to do, and then from there, well, I wasn't earning anything yet from the music. I had to work another job while doing like learning stuff on the way, on the go, and eventually, I'm lucky enough to be able to do this as my living.
Awesome, awesome. How much would you say you rely on intuitive approach to composing versus technical, where you like using music theory and stuff like that, if you ever do that? But yeah, it's sort of like how much of the work you think it's intuitive in your case. I mean, obviously it's different with everyone, and how much is sort of technical and like almost mathematical in a sense.
Oh, well, it's hard to really pinpoint how many percent is like intuitive and technical, especially when you're doing things like we're working on a deadline. You usually don't think about those stuff. But I'd like to think that I'm mostly intuitive when I'm writing music. It's more on what I've experienced and what I like and you know who I am. I think
Yeah.
when I'm writing music, it's an expression of myself. Even though it is a medium where like a certain level of technicality is required from you, but I'd like to think that my work, the people who come to me, that they come to me because of what I can, what I can do, like my voice in the musical composition, that they like, my style, my voice. And so with that in mind, I move forward with that kind of like thing in my head, like.
Yeah, yeah. The intuition is sort of what people would call your voice, maybe. Like it's what makes your music yours. But the technical side for me, it's sort of that thing I can lean against when I'm battling with a deadline, where I know what works, and I have certain sort of pillars that I know that are gonna carry the weight of the piece. So, but yeah, you're right. When the deadline comes, I either go super intuitive or super technical. I don't know. What about you?
Yeah. Well, I think, yeah, you're right. Actually, technical. When you're being technical things, you go with what works, right? Like with the standard.
You mean like
But
using cliches or something like in that sense, like relying on something you know already that works?
yeah,
Yeah. The fun thing about cliches, I think, is that when you know them and then you know how to do them really well, and then you can sort of do them in an unexpected way, I guess. That's when it gets interesting again, I think. It's like when you take something that's really sort of obvious and then you make it, like you sort of twist it the other way around, or you twist it in that direction too far. Like You know, like sort of, what would be an example of that? Like at the time, I think it was Dead Space, the first one, if you ever...
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It still holds up to, especially with like today's standards. I feel like it holds up really well.
Yeah. They actually made a remake. I haven't seen, or I don't know what they did with the music in the remake, if it's the same or if it's new, but there's... I was wondering if you're more keen to work in a style of like a retro video games, because that's what I see a lot around myself lately with a lot of composers and a lot of indie developers actually, that they're sort of going back to those like sort of Metroid pixel art games, and they also require these sort of like retro sounding, not necessarily chip tunes, but sort of like a, you know, early sounding video game music, versus like I don't see that many developers who want like orchestral stuff or like modern sounds, you know, like so I'm wondering what's your take on that?
Well, personally, I'd love to be able to be involved in a project that's has realistic graphics, you know, like the big stuff from AAA. But there's a certain there's a certain charm with retro games that I think just brings people toward it. Maybe it's the nostalgia, or it brings them back to a time where things are simpler, and it hits them where where it hurts. But in the indie scene, I feel like it's aside from those factors, the nostalgia factor, and I feel like it's much more affordable for the indie devs to work with something that's much more, easier to apply. Whereas if they're doing everything 3D, or it takes more time and money from them. Then.
It's true. Do you still actively play like a violin or any other instrument?
No, not anymore. I quit violin a long time ago.
You should pick it up again. It's fun to be able to sort of record your own stuff when you do soundtracks. Even if you think like you don't know how to play properly or good enough, but it's like it's surprising, and I'm sure you know that, how much, let's say you have 10 instruments in your track and just one of them is live recorded. It's just so elevates the whole thing. It's like such a big sort of help. It's like makes it so much more alive.
I would definitely would be going back to it when I have more, space or time to actually do it. Right now, I'm not comfortable yet, but yeah, the implications, especially not just the music, with sound design, the things you could do with like the violin strings and stuff, because it's very expressive instrument. It's close to the voice, as they say, the violins and the strings.
You can definitely be a bad player on a violin, but you can record a ton of great horror music on that instrument, because you can just do all sorts
that's
of
true.
like atmospheric stuff, just like a simple tremolo or something, and you put echo on it, and wow, it's great. Yeah. So in that sort of direction of, I guess the type of music, sort of retro versus modern, you don't necessarily lean one way, you enjoy both?
Yeah, I enjoy both.
That's nice. What sort of like type of music do you think you prefer as a composer, in sense of like action versus narrative, or like battle music, or like some kind of emotional underscore? Is there sort of like type or genre, I would say, of a situation that you prefer to score in a game? Or
I prefer to score. I prefer to score in terms of it's easier for me, or I'm more used to it. Maybe soft orchestral textures. But I've been itching to do some sound designy music. It's just very interesting to tell the story with simple sounds, or like is less. Less is sorry. Less is more approach when it, but you know, it doesn't always seem. It doesn't always is what? Sorry, it isn't always less, but it just sounds less. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I guess also like it depends. I mean, there's certainly, if you imagine a game that, I don't know, let's take an example for like if you imagine like, I don't know, Call of Duty, just couldn't remember anything else. You can imagine so many different ways that could be scored. I mean, if I think about the last one that I remember by Sarah Schachner, she did this sort of like a, coming from the tradition of what is used in the previous ones, but she also has this sort of processed violin or solo cello over the score, and there's like a lot of cool textures. But I can easily imagine that game being scored just with electronics or just with like a metal sort of electric guitar stuff. It could also be orchestral. Like it really is interesting how different approaches can make the impact so much different. Yeah, but I guess my question was sort of like, do you enjoy more scoring like battle action stuff or like more subdued sort of easygoing stuff?
That's hard because I don't really prefer one over the other.
Oh.
I like if I can write like boss battle music. It's very it's what I started practicing on.
Nice.
Especially before was I am still a big fan of Mr. Austin Wintory.
Yeah.
And whenever like I hear some of his soundtracks, like in Alien Fireteam Elite?
Yeah.
It was a pretty nice soundtrack. It was really good. He actually used some sound designy stuff. I'm not familiar with the term like electro stuff in there.
Yeah. He has a lot of like sort of processed live instrument in there as well, which is really cool. I like that. Yeah, the second Aliens Fireteam Alien 2 is coming out in like 2 weeks or something. By the way. So.
I heard his soundtrack won or like got nominated for Emmy or something for that game.
Yeah, it was. I'm so like curious about the soundtrack for the second one because I definitely loved the first one. It was he did a very good job of sort of tying together what Jerry Goldsmith and Horner and Goldenthal did and sort of like also putting his own spin on top of it, which is always cool when people can do that. Yeah. Is there sort of some project that you're working right now that you would like to mention or talk about or get excited about? If you're allowed.
I kind of talk about some of them. I guess I can just hint at, what it is.
Yeah.
I'm working on 2 projects right now. Actually, I was working on 3, but I don't know. Things happen. They found someone else. Maybe it suits the voice better. It's actually the one I told you about, the old school RuneScape MMO.
Oh, yeah. They went with someone else then?
Yeah. It's okay. I mean, I heard the other one too. I feel like maybe it is the right choice that they made for the game. But for now, I have one long term. I'm working with a dev who's making a farming sim, but it's more of like all in one. I don't know how I would categorize. It has farming sim aspects, but it also has like old schools. I don't know if I should say it, like Zelda mechanics.
That's cool.
But I guess that's all I can say about that game.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't want you to break any secrets. It's always hard with these things, people.
Yeah, but to be fair, there's a lot of games coming out with the same gameplay loop. There's Oh, I forgot already. Chef RPG. There's stuff I just forgot. That I recently saw them on my YouTube reels, but yeah, I'm surprised actually seeing more and more of those. The other one I'm working on visual novel.
Oh,
It's interesting to say. It's actually inspired from Ace Attorney, but the art style is very different. I don't know. Like
that's a sort of a different approach than for a novel than for a video game, isn't it?
I guess so, but seems like I'm not doing anything different for me. It's-
Which
So
might be nice, actually. Like, right, you don't have to necessarily step out of your comfort zone too much. Yeah, that's good. Actually, maybe I don't know. Yeah. So is it for the visual novel? Is it like you're doing a whole chapters, or are they asking just for small chunks of music, or is how does that work in that sense of, you know?
I really haven't asked much when how things will turn out. Like when the music will be played or how all sorts of stuff. But I can tell they have a lot of mechanics that's inspired from the game Ace Attorney. So I just go off of that, and then he seems to like
Cool. Cool.
yeah.
Hopefully they will use it in the way that you.
Imagine. Well, I don't know. However they use it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Basically it's just a loop. Anyway,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of like layering or segment.
Yeah, yeah.
So
But still, there's such a. I don't remember who was telling that story, but I don't even remember which composer it was. It was a Goldschmidt or someone like that. And the director, it was for a movie, and the director asked him, what happens if we move the cue just like 2 seconds later? And so the composer was like, it's not going to work because I have these sort of hit points planned and everything. But there's just, let's try, let's see what happens. They moved it, and the hit points landed on completely different parts, but it was still sort of synchronized, and it gave the scene completely different meaning. Like it was like, and both of them were like, wow, actually, this is so much more interesting than what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think it's good that, we have, as a composer, we have a certain idea that where everything should be, and then someone comes in and moves it a little bit, and we're like, no, you're breaking it. But then sometimes it might actually be even more interesting, which is, yeah, I guess we have to be open to.
yeah, well, even if let's say we don't really agree, but sometimes it's just out of our hands. Like if they want it that way, okay, fine.
I mean, especially if you're working as a part of the team, it's you have to be a part of the team. There has to be some sort of.
Yeah.
Anyway, so when you compose, another question that I sort of wrestle with by myself is: do you compose in your head more for the audience or for yourself?
Oh. I don't really know because all this time I've been just thinking about the project, like if it would fit, like how I would make this scene, like how I would make it better with my music or how I would elevate it. I guess with regards to that, that means that I'm thinking about the audience since they're the ones to be like they're the one who will play the game. But at the same time, I can't help but think that like this is my music. I'm like, I want it to be like this and that. Like so, maybe it's for me also in a way.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the way I think about it is that, I used to. One of the reasons I got into composing is I don't know when I started. When I was the first serious sort of stuff I did, like when I was like 15 or 16, let's say. But I started way before that. But my idea for composing was that I'm composing because there is music I want to hear and I cannot find it, so I'm going to write it for myself, which is sort of like egocentric way of thinking about it, which I recognize now. But that was sort of my motivation. I was like, I want to compose this thing that I want to listen to because I can't find it, right? And then obviously I was not able to fulfill that sort of imagination of a 15-year-old of the grand piece of music that just never came.
Well, so that also means like it also depends on what you're writing for, right? Like if you're writing for your client or your game devs for a team, so that means you're writing it for them. But I guess if you're writing for like a concert for yourself, then maybe
That's true. That's true. I was sort of thinking in the box of game music, but it is true that obviously there's many different sort of situations where you would find yourself writing music. So definitely for concerts, that's when I do concert music, that's the area where I'm like allowed to really just think about myself. Because the thing is that the contemporary concert music scene has a very small audience. Most people don't mind to listen to it. And so I take that as sort of my goal to use that platform while it's still sort of existing to do what I want, because I know I'm not going to be able to please, all those people. And it's not even, I don't think that's even should be the point of music to please someone necessarily, to try to be sort of appealing. But it's more, as you mentioned before, it's sort of a self-expression. So basically you're putting yourself out there and you're thinking you might like what you see or you don't. It's up to you to enjoy it or not.
They might connect with it or not, they might like it or not, but it's still all very valid. But I think we should bring more live concerts in this day and age. I think especially with the age of AI, I feel like we could make a comeback for it, because
I think it's going there. I think AI is going to be one of the reasons where people are going to stop maybe listening to so much music on digitally online, because they're not going to be like, how do I know if it's not, But hopefully everything's going to work out. My last sort of debate question for you is, actually there's two, but I'm thinking of choosing only one. So I'm going to give you a choice, which one you want to talk about. Either we could talk about how do you deal with sort of writer block, or if you have a lack of motivation or lack of inspiration or something like that. Or if you want to talk sort of about how you approach interactivity in music, and if you're working with interactive systems, if you're making your own, how do you work with implementation and stuff like that. So whatever you feel more comfortable with talking about.
I think it would be, I already am thinking of what I would say, or what I would answer for the question, writer's block, what I would do.
I think that's also more sort of question that people are interested in general, I feel like, because I see that pop out a lot.
Well, to answer that question, I feel like for me, things worked out better when I know more about myself, when I figure out why I'm feeling certain things a certain way. Maybe it's a mental block, or maybe I just don't feel like doing anything or stuff like that. So when a time comes that when I'm writing a music, and let's say there's a deadline like tomorrow, and let's say I have 8 hours left, and right now I'm panicking, nothing's coming out. Like, what do I do? Well, nowadays there's nothing really coming out. I just don't do anything for like maybe 3 hours. If I have 8 hours, I'll maybe rest or go out for 3 hours maybe, and then when I come back, I feel much better, and I feel like writing again, and then so just know what to do with yourself, like how to make yourself feel better. If it's mental block, what do you do? you know, to make yourself, or what are the causes?
I definitely think that, having although it sounds sort of too easy to be true, but I think having a nice walk outside in the countryside is actually so important. And that's one of the reasons I love the fact that I have a dog, which forces me to go walk the dog a couple of times a day. When I was living with her back in Czechia, I had to go at least 3 times a day, sometimes more, and at least one of those walks had to be at least an hour or hour and a half. So for me, that was a great way to sort of leave everything behind and just walk through a park or something. It's true that then usually when I came back, I'm excited about getting back to work, which is sort of the thing that helps me to go over if I have a block or something, is that gaining back that sort of excitement and motivation. Yeah. Awesome. So I would move to the rapid fire questions. Rapid fire, not choir.
Okay.
Fire.
Rapid choir.
Rapid fire also sounds good.
I wish we had rapid choir here, man.
Okay, so first one, 3 favorite composers.
Okay. Yupeng Chen, Austin Wintory. Okay, well, Disaster Piece.
3 favorite bands, if you listen to
I don't have favorite band.
or artists in general, sort of, or performers,
In general?
something in that
Okay.
area.
I forgot their names actually. I only know the title.
You can just
Can
sing
I
the song.
Okay.
People will
With like old, it's sort of like an old song from Philippines. It goes like na 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 na. I
Okay.
don't know. Wait, can I look it up?
Composer who you think should be more recognized than is, or that is maybe, not as talked about as you feel as he should be.
Oh, I should have chosen Ludwig Göransson. Because I don't know if he's not as being as talked about as he should be, but he definitely deserves the recognition he's getting right now. Ludwig Göransson.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
I love
I'm not even
his...
sure.
Yep, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing his name right.
I think, yeah, Ludwig Göransson, I think so.
Okay.
I love the Black Panther he did with the, introducing the 808 kick drums into that sort of orchestral palette with like a lot of cool vocal work. It's like, I was totally blown away by that. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, favorite music instrument?
Oh.
To either play or listen to or compose for, doesn't matter.
Compose for Woodwind as a group.
That's interesting because I feel like those are underused a lot in modern sort of composing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I also really liked it when composers use a lot of it more for games, like Austin Wintory for Fire Teams Elite.
Definitely. Yeah.
And some anime games that or gacha games, they use a lot of soft orchestral textures
Yeah.
to some of the scenes, which includes the woodwinds, of course. And for the main the solo instrument, I guess. Damn, I cannot pick one.
What's your DAW
Okay,
of choice? What do you work
DAW of choice? Oh, easy. Logic Pro. I've been using it for like 6 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years. Yeah. But I have used other ones, like FL Studio, and then I've also used a bit of Bandcamp. And then, but ever since I switched to Logic Pro, I don't, things just feels much easier for me. So I just
No,
use,
no. It's a sort of arbitrary question because personally, me, I don't really care for that, but I know a lot of people do. But I find it interesting that people are interested in sort of, you know, as if the tool was what's making the music. I understand there's different, you know, different DAWs will give you different sort of advantages or disadvantages. But it's sort of interesting to me always that people are like asking like, what DAW you use? And I'm like, does it make any difference?
yeah,
guess it does.
I've seen like arguments on the comment sections where they would argue which like DAW is more superior.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, choose what you want, man. Like
Exactly. Analog versus digital.
well, I've been using digital. Almost everything for me is digital. So if I could afford analog and learn, well, I don't mind. But
Yeah. It's
digital is
you're
fine.
absolutely right that in today's age, especially choosing between analog and digital is more of a sort of a financial choice than really like preference because like the analog stuff is so much less approachable, both financially and also just learning it. Although maybe the learning is individual, but yeah. Favorite hobby unrelated to music?
Oh, does exercising like jogging is games excluded?
Not really.
Games. Then I changed my answer. Games,
Awesome. Yeah.
video games.
That's what a game composer should say.
Yeah. Imagine he says jogging. Who does that?
No, that's also admirable. I mean, come on. Right. What do you think is the biggest strength and your biggest weakness in your sort of composing workflow?
Like I've discussed before, I'm very like intuitive rather than technical, which could also be my weakness. I like to think that it's my strength because people come to me because they hear the voice, my musical voice in my compositions. But because of that, I lean towards that a lot. And sometimes learning new techniques when I hear it and then trying to discover that in a technical way. I could only learn it by doing, like I have to really be making it, as part of me. So
Yeah,
it
you
becomes
have to sort of like
intuitive.
submerge into it, like sort of absorb it from inside. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, understand. Who would you say is or was your most influential person in your life who had the most sort of effect on you in any way?
In any way,
Yeah. Sort of like either a personal hero or maybe, someone from family, can be anyone.
in my whole life, I feel like a big reason of why I'm a music person today is my grandfather. I looked up to him so much before, and he would teach me like music stuff. And then from then on, I really wanted to walk in his footsteps. And
Yeah.
maybe now I wouldn't think that I wouldn't imagine myself back then like that I would be a composer. I would always imagine myself as a performer before. But still, I guess in my own way, I've walked in his footsteps.
That's awesome, man. That's okay. Now there's a group here of the most recent something that blew your mind. So what was the most recent music or piece of music that sort of,
Oh, I really don't know the title of the soundtrack, but it's a score from The Gentleman. There was a scene there where they're supposed to go in and steal a car, and then all of a sudden, well, things go wrong, and then they're suddenly they have to run away with the car that they're stealing because they got caught. And then I don't know, the score there is just hit me in a really weird way because when the man started running, it could also be the cinematography with or everything, but the score really hit me along with everything there because that man was really scary from my perspective. I'm like, holy, I should run away now from the TV. But yeah, it's also sound designy, electro score, and so that's why maybe I'm fascinated with a
Yeah.
lot of sound design stuff.
Yeah. What's the most recent film or TV series that sort of blew your mind?
Blew my mind.
Something that you'd be like, when you meet someone, you'd be like, I have to recommend this to you. I've just seen this thing, and it's just so amazing. Is there
Well,
anything like that?
I recently watched Spider-Man, but I think I would rather talk about the Odyssey, like the Odyssey, yeah. Or
I
I would
still haven't seen
recommend to people.
that.
Oh, okay. Well, you should watch it.
Okay.
Definitely.
I will. I mean, I already listened to the score, obviously, but
Oh, okay, okay.
but I haven't seen the movie. Yeah, yeah. What is the most recent video game that you would recommend that you enjoyed?
Right now, I've been playing a lot of retro stuff. Actually, I'm replaying. I'm replaying Pokemon Crystal.
Oh, nice. Those are really
Yeah.
sort of,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're very OG.
That's
I don't know. I
nostalgic.
guess that's what I recommend. Go back and play
Yeah.
your retro game.
Definitely.
Makes it would make you feel like a child again. I guess.
Yep. Awesome. By that account, what is the video game that you most often find yourself returning to?
Oh, I'll just because the way I play games is I have a roster of games that I have started, and I would go like however I feel like choose one of them until I finish one. I guess.
Yep.
But among those in the years, especially recently, I would go back to Wuthering Waves.
Okay.
It's sort of like an anime and gacha game.
Yep. Yep. It's interesting that I sometimes come back to video games that I remember I didn't enjoy that much, but I'm just like trying to give them a second chance. if you ever do that, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. What is the favorite animal sound?
Dinosaur.
Dinosaur. Okay.
Yeah.
That was very sort of fast. You've been waiting for that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're pretty cool. The sound.
Yeah.
It's just no one really knew how they sound like, and then
It's true.
all of a sudden when you talk about dinosaur, you just know what they sound like
Yep.
in your head.
I mean, Jurassic Park gave us sort of the blueprint for what I think people think about the sound of the dinosaur.
Yeah.
But do you prefer instrumental or vocal music?
Oh. Well, I prefer instrumental.
Instrumental. As a composer and a listener, or is that
As a
separate?
composer and a listener, but as a listener, I like them both.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
listening to like songs and soundtracks with vocals in them.
Yep.
As a listener, but since I am a composer, I lean more towards with what I hear and what I could get from, like what I could learn and absorb from listening from music. Even if not intentionally, I just when I hear something, oh, I like that, and then
Yep.
trying to use that.
It's the thing with sort of in vocal music as specifically like songs is for me that's something that's absolutely like nightmarish to do. I'm not very good at it. I feel like it's very hard. It's probably just because I haven't done it that many times, but since I've tried it, I appreciate everyone so much more who is able to sort of write a song.
Well, I just want to share. I've been hired to compose for this guy, this dude. I've been hired to compose for his musical,
Oh, wow.
and so I will be writing songs and
Yeah.
all that jazz for his musical, which I'm excited, but it also terrifies me because I haven't been hired to do that before. I'm just like a video game composer,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I really want to be a part of it. It's very interesting. I'm excited. Like, I think I can do it because I've written poems before, and maybe I've dabbled a little bit in songwriting in the past, but
Yeah. Yeah.
nowadays I've only been working like orchestral sound design stuff. So it's interesting what I come up with.
I'll be excited to hear the results. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well when it comes out, maybe I'll let you know. Like,
Yeah, sure,
it's
sure.
in Illinois. They said the plays will be held, but if they do a show online or they live stream stuff or they whatever
Yeah.
product online they do, maybe I'll let you know.
Awesome. Awesome. If music was off the table and there was something else you had to do in your life, what would that be?
Firefighting.
Firefighting. Okay.
In fact, I've taken a course
That's-
before in firefighting.
That's absolutely admirable. That's amazing.
Yeah, I was just I don't know. There's something about me that wants to, especially when I watch movies that like scenes where firefighters help people. Like, it always touches me. So
Yeah. That's awesome. I haven't heard anyone say they want to become a firefighter since my elementary school. Like it's not a thing people talk about that much here, especially,
Yeah.
or like back home. Yeah. Wow. That's awesome, man. And last one is what keeps you going? What makes you get up in
Keeps
the
me going.
morning? What's your sort of inspiration in life, I would guess, in general?
inspiration. Well, I don't know if I have inspiration, but just to be able to do something like this for a living, I already feel that alone inspires me already to keep going because this is something that I want to do in my life, and not a lot of people are lucky to do what we do for a living. And I don't know, I feel like I don't want to take it for granted, but at the same time, it's, sometimes we have our moments when we feel like these things are too much, but in general, I like what I'm doing, and that keeps me going.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's as good answer as any other. Cool. Well, that's it. Thank you so much for
Here you go.
taking
Thank
the
you too.
time to talk to me. And yeah.
Thank you.
Hope
Thank you
all
for having
good
me.
things come up. Yeah, no problem. Awesome.
But is it okay if I ask a few things too? Like,
Yeah.
I just have
feel
three
like-
questions here written.
Yeah, sure. Oh God, I didn't expect that.
No, it's okay. You don't have to answer them if you're like
No, I'll
uncomfortable.
do my
with-
best. I'll do my best.
I know every composer do things differently. Is what I'd like to have this. I'd like to use this opportunity to take away something from you. Okay.
Absolutely.
So my first question is, what is your philosophy when you're doing a mix? What do you think about what practices?
It changed a lot because I'm still learning that, and I feel like that's one of my weaknesses, mixing. I think the best thing I found out recently to do is to sort of be very brutal in the beginning and be very general in the beginning of the mixing, where I literally sort of try to decide, okay, this is the main element and this is going to occupy 70% of the mix. and this is the rest. This is all the things that are sort of in the background. And then of course you can divide it sort of into foreground, middle ground, background, or you can start dividing in more granularly. But I think my philosophy in the beginning is to really like establish this is the most important thing that I want the people to hear. And I think that helped a lot, because previously I was immediately going into super detailed work, which takes super long. It makes everything messy, and then when the result is not good, the fixing takes forever, because it's just, it's so hard to backtrack what I did if it's just all sort of granular and small rights from the start. Yeah.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I thought your mixes are very clean. Like, they're very good for me. Because you remember when you asked me to help you with your mixing?
Yeah.
I thought, like, what am I even supposed to help with this? It sounds so perfect already, and it almost feels like I'm just nitpicking some stuff then.
But that's the thing I need. That's the thing I needed you for, is to have someone who's really gonna like, this thing is just slightly louder than it should be or something, like that was really helpful actually. That was great. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad.
Yeah.
What can you share about your like composition process that like you say you think that should be a common like practice?
Again, if I go more sort of general, I think it's a very good idea to start with a solid sort of plan, not necessarily, with someone as you might be someone, as you mentioned, who is more into sort of intuitive approach. So maybe for you, this is not a good, valid strategy, or maybe you can try and you'll see. But what I usually do is, before I start putting any sort of notes down, or I start improvising or doing any sort of actual work with any sounds, I sit down, take a piece of paper and a pencil, and I draw myself a line, and I decide what the structure of the piece is going to be, what the form is, what the sort of the peaks and valleys are of the intensity or whatnot. So I'm basically drawing myself a graph of this basic shape of the music. And then I feel free to break it completely if necessary, but I really like to have something to start with, where then I am sort of like filling it up with music instead of just, throwing music on the wall and then see what sticks. I build myself a little cage, or cage sounds not nice. I built myself a little playground, and then I sort of place the things inside. So I think that helped me a lot to get organized, and it also helps me to plan things ahead, which I think is super important, especially if you're working on something that has a deadline that's right around the corner. Keeping it organized and sort of being able to track where exactly you are, what else needs to be done, in sense of either the whole cue, but either the whole soundtrack, or this can be applied to different levels of micro and macro of the work. But
Well, yeah,
a little more
definitely.
technical, I guess, than would be interesting. I know, but
Yeah, no, it's still interesting to like to, especially because as I said, everyone does things differently. This would be a chance for people or whoever else is interested to
yep.
like take stuff away from each of us. But for me, I think I do say that I'm very intuitive, or maybe it comes across like I just do things however, but I won't be able to be intuitive if things are just like unorganized. So yeah, I also do things like organized where things are also planned, but sometimes they don't necessarily go things as planned, but
Yeah. In no way I meant to tell you're not organized in the way that I said.
No.
Sorry. I just meant maybe for you as more intuitive person, it's easier for you to sort of get into it based on the input, maybe. I don't know. So I mean, I also usually sort of just go and vibe and do stuff intuitively, but then anytime I run into something, I immediately switch into sort of my like technical brain, and then sometimes it's hard to get out of there, like to get back into that sort of flowy state. But Yeah.
Yeah, actually, there's a technical and creative side when you're making music. Like you're part of the brain. It's more of like sometimes balancing the creativity and then the science behind it,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
there's math. Like you have to properly do your, or almost if like you made a like creative, like a melody, and then now how will you fit it in your like harmony or whatever, like your instrument? It's like a almost like problem solving.
Yeah,
Um,
but it is. That's what you said is exactly. It's a problem-solving sort of activity, composing.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, which is like something when you talk to people about it, like especially non-music people, when they wouldn't think of it as a, yeah, problem solving. Like there's math or like it would just probably think of it as like, yeah, let your emotions, creativity flow, like
It's definitely a lot of these things, a lot of these, composing and painting, and a lot of these artistic activities are heavily romanticized in pop culture. But that's just how it is. I mean, it's not just these; it's everything.
yeah, that is true.
Unfortunately, but also I guess it's engaging. So, at the other hand, even though it's slightly misrepresenting, it's also turning people's attention to it, which is not, something that I would complain about. But
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true. Actually, especially when it has come to like modern media, like Whiplash, a lot of
Yeah.
people like some of my friends they didn't like the super like drastic and competitive
Yeah.
aspect of the telling of the story.
I
But
mean, I felt it's more of an like the people who should sort of be worried about that movie is not even jazz players, it's just teachers in general, because the representation of a teacher
Oh,
being
yeah.
that brutal, that's just as a teacher myself, I was like, come on,
Yeah.
this couldn't happen.
It's all, I also got alarmed a little bit when some of my non-musician friends are they almost agree with the message, like, yeah, because you can't get into a music job unless you're super good. But I mean, I'm not super good right now. I'm like doing okay. Like you don't have to be super at the top of your game to be successful at
Yeah,
something.
yeah. I mean, and that's something that's coming up so often lately, I feel like, and it's absolutely true. And it's a good thing that that's true, is that, to be sort of successful in these creative spheres, and I think everywhere, unless it's like being a doctor or something, and obviously there you also have to be really good at your job. But a lot of these jobs where there's no risk of someone dying, I think there is just
Yeah.
a great opportunity for people who maybe are not so skilled, but they're good to work with. Because if you have someone who is absolutely amazing at his job, but it's a horrible person to be around, no one's going to be working with that person. And I think
That's true.
it's even harder, especially for me. It's really hard to sort of be a good team member and sort of be communicative and just work with people, which is something that, because I was teaching for 10 years, I sort of got to practice at being around people. But it's not necessarily who I was. I was very sort of introspective and not very outgoing as a young person. So yeah, I think that's sort of a good thing that we are noticing, that it's not necessarily just about crushing your job and having all the skills in the world, but it's all about being a good person, basically.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely, because well, in my culture, especially growing up in Asian like household, we've sort of almost been programmed in a way that good grades, higher performance equals you'll have good job. When when I've went through life myself, went through different jobs and eventually getting the job that I want. I feel like they should also teach more about the other aspects of, sure, having good skills would really help you, but there are other like characteristics that you know people look for to work with
Definitely.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, especially with AI products out and about, being perfect doesn't grant you like what can I what do you offer that the AI
Yep.
cannot give? And I feel like personality with your
Yep.
music, with your, whatever you do, add personality to it,
That
and
too,
you'll
but
be
also
better.
I think to actually have, in this, let's say, this scenario of a single independent developer looking for a composer, someone reaches out and he's like, okay, I can do this almost for free with AI. What do you offer to me as a living being? And I think the most important thing that person offers is being a person, being a living being, someone you can talk to, someone who can actually have a conversation on a human level, someone possibly you can meet up for a coffee if you live in the same place, and so the work relationship can sort of melt with that sort of friendship relationship occasionally, which is also really nice. And there's so much more potential in that sort of exchange for something else for something good to be created than just, prompting it into a computer and be like, okay, just give me
Yeah,
music in style of blah, blah, blah.
yeah. Practices that you do to get work.
Well, it's going to be slightly disappointing because I do everything else that everyone does. I feel like I do the same. The true is that I am not the best at writing sort of the cold emails and everything, so I sort of stopped doing that because I'm not really good at writing sort of those, fluffy and amazing and, those emails that land you the job. So I don't do that anymore. But I mean, I am always on lookout for studios that are sort of hiring. So I'm always doing those solicited applications for that. Mostly no one even responds. Then I'm on Reddit a lot, and there's a lot of indie developers that are looking for composers. Most of them for free, but some of them even offer something. But I found that what worked for me last time about when I was doing the Do Out Beyond Light and Shadow, which is sort of an ancient Egyptian inspired game, is that I saw a person who was already on the team and he was posting art he was creating for that game. And I just commented like, wow, this looks really cool. What is that? And so he explained it's for this game. I was like, wow. And so I composed like a 40-second piece of music just inspired by the picture, like what I would imagine in that game and based on what he was describing. And somehow that piece of music, he got it to the developer, they heard it, and they were like, oh, we want to get you on the music. But that's like so random, it's not really a strategy because you can't replicate it. I haven't been able to do the same thing since. I also had a lot of people who just reached out based on music that they found online. So just, I try to get stuff out there. It's never gonna be, there's always gonna be something to fix or to, make better. And then, yeah, I think that's it.
Cool. It's inspiring to learn about like how you got that job. I myself have just been lucky. I feel like I've just been lucky that
Yeah.
I've been getting my my work. But there's definitely a strategy there for people. You just have to try. I feel like just try what works.
Yeah, I think obviously a good strategy is to just go out and meet people and make connections in real world, sort of outside of internet, which again, as I said, is something that I'm not really good at, but I try. I attended a sort of a game music workshop, the first and so far last one that I ever did. I didn't even go to game jams or anything like that yet. And I had an absolutely pleasant experience, which I was sort of scared about because there was like going to be 20 of us, and I was like, that's a lot of people, and I'm not really good in big groups. But then it worked out nice, and I think it's super, and a lot of these connections are still on after like a year now, and I've got commissions because of that, and I've been helping people, and people help me. So I think just going out for game jams, meeting people, and of course being on a university or in a school, in a sort of an educational facility gives you a place to connect with other people and sort of find those opportunities. But yeah.
Like putting yourself out there is the first like step always to get working. Then the next is whatever your plan is, because you won't be found unless you don't put yourself out there. Right? Like,
and the funny thing is that obviously sometimes a person's going to be scared to put something out there because he thinks it's not good enough, like a piece of music or album or whatever. I can tell that most of the things I think I did the best get the least interest, and the things that I think are sort of mediocre, people are excited about. It's like the other way around always, and so that's also something that it's good to consider, that necessarily what you think out of your creation is like the one best thing, that people are gonna think different because everyone's different, and also being the person who creates something, you have a completely different relationship with that work than everyone else, because it's just how it is, right? Because you spend so much time with it.
Close. Like you the way you view like your own stuff, you're too close to it to see the like the bigger picture maybe, or it also ties with what we've talked about earlier, that we don't have to be the best in order to like be successful. You can make something that's appropriate and like good enough, and people like there's companies and game devs out there that will deem your work appropriate for their project. And if you don't put yourself out there,
sorry.
I was there. If you don't put yourself out there, they won't find you. The people will.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say that, especially if that work has a sort of visible and sort of recognizable effort and sort of passion behind it, that I think that's what counts, especially because on the other hand, I am not saying to anyone, don't worry about being good and having skills. Like obviously you want to get to the best level possible you want to be, but you don't want to rely on just that to push you through everything. So just to clarify that, I'm not saying, be lazy, just be nice and it will come to you. Of course. You have to work super hard.
Yeah, that's true.
Just, I think everyone understands. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah. Obviously, guys, the people watching, we have to be like somewhat competent in our skills, but
at least a little bit competent.
Just a little bit. Yeah. Well, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for your answers.
Yeah, no problem, man. It was a pleasure.